Time is precious, time is money, and this is the time for Money Talk on Atlantic Television Network. Good day, viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. This is the network's medium of bringing the happenings in the economic sector of society to our discerning viewers. This program is aimed at bringing to the doorstep of viewers the business, financial, and economic activities from all strata of society. Its deliveries are centered through the various stock exchanges across the world, news about government economic activities, private sector business activities, laced with experts' opinions, stakeholders' analysis, and correspondence reports. The headlines. We take a short break. When we come back, we will delve into the stories for the day. This is not my prep for...
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on Atn Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
You're a human
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
back, the headlines. NLNG boosts supply with thermal vessel deal. Nigeria seeks to host AEB headquarters, lobbies 18 nations. U.S. economy bolsters global growth. And in the stock market, Asia shares rises, Bank of Japan takes spotlight. By the end of this show, you can be rest assured of being informed accurately of financial activities around the world. I am your host for today, Susan Abbey. Now let's go into market reports, local and international business news for today. In a significant development aimed at enhancing the transportation of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) within Nigeria and the wider West African region, NLNG Shipping and Marine Service Limited (NSML) entered into a vessel management agreement with indigenous company Thermal Development Company Limited. This agreement, signed on Tuesday, pertains to the management of the LPG Alfred Temo 10, a vessel boasting a capacity of 23,000 cubic meters and owned by Thermal Development Company Limited. NSML assumes the role of the vessel's technical manager. The managing director of NSML, Mr. Abdulkader Ahmed, hailed the agreement as a significant milestone during the event held in Abuja to formalize the deal. Ahmed highlighted the agreement's potential to enhance the supply of LPG across the sub-region. He traced the origins of the partnership back to the construction and delivery of the first LPG vessel, the Afra Thermal, in 2020, emphasizing the growth of the collaboration with the addition of a second vessel. Ahmed underscored the commitment of both companies to operate a modern, efficient, and environmentally responsible fleet, noting that the LPG Afra Thermal 10 would establish a new standard in LPG transportation with its cutting-edge design and technology. Also present at the event were Mr. Alfred Thermal, Chairman, CEO of Thermal Development Company, and Douglas Beckhazer, the company's General Manager of Operations. They expressed their company's intention to deliver another vessel before the year's end. Mr. Thermal reflected on the challenges encountered during the delivery of the first vessel in 2020, noting the absence of Nigerian companies engaged in marine LPG transportation at that time. He emphasized his decision to embark on this endeavor as not merely commercial, but driven by the conviction of capability, stating at that time it was not a commercial decision, but a decision of we can do it, and now we have done it. Providing assurance from the NSML board, Olaleko Ogule, Executive Vice President of Gas, Power and New Energy at NNPC Limited, and NSML board chairman pledged unwavering support to Alfred Thermal and Thermal Development Company. Ogule affirmed NSML's capability to effectively manage any number of vessels the company would deliver, ensuring continued success in their partnership. Nigeria is actively pursuing the hosting rights for the African Energy Bank (AEB), intensifying its efforts by lobbying 18 African oil-producing nations associated with the African Petroleum Producers Organization (APPO). Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Heineken Lokbobire emphasized the significance of the AEB during a dinner in Abuja, attended by ambassadors from these countries, stressing its crucial role in ensuring energy security and fostering sustainable development across the continent. According to reports from correspondents, APPO comprises 18 member countries possessing substantial oil and gas reserves, collectively accounting for a significant portion of global production. These nations, including Nigeria, hold vast energy resources and play a crucial role in the global energy landscape. Lokbobire highlighted the transformative potential of the AEB amid challenges in fossil fuel funding, emphasizing its importance in driving economic growth and sustainable development in Africa. Lokbobire revealed that Nigeria's bid to host the AEB underwent a thorough assessment by the APPO Afrexim Bank inspection team, resulting in a positive evaluation of Nigeria's readiness and capability. However, securing hosting rights requires collective support from all APPO member countries, necessitating ongoing lobbying efforts. Nicholas Agboela, Permanent Secretary of Nigeria's Ministry of Petroleum Resources, underscored Nigeria's strategic advantages, including its geographical location, abundant natural resources, and robust regulatory framework. He emphasized Nigeria's commitment to fostering regional cooperation and highlighted Abuja's infrastructure and sustainability initiatives aligning with Nigeria's vision for a prosperous and sustainable energy future. MultiChoice, South Africa's prominent television entity, disclosed a pre-tax loss of 706 million rand, $38 million for the fiscal year ending in March, attributing the decline to weakened local currencies and a reduction in subscribers. The company currently targeted for acquisition by Francis Canal Plus, which already holds over 35% of MultiChoice's shares, facing significant challenges exacerbated by volatile currencies, power shortages, and adverse economic conditions. Addressing the challenging landscape, MultiChoice highlighted factors such as power disruptions in South Africa, currency fluctuations, and a subdued consumer environment characterized by inflation and high interest rates. This loss contrasts starkly with the 921 million rand profit reported the preceding year, and is compounded by a 9% decrease in subscriptions, particularly impacted by the 275 days of rolling power cuts in South Africa. Despite a 5% decline in group revenue, reaching 56 billion rand, MultiChoice emphasized its resilience amid currency volatility, noting a potential 3% growth trajectory without currency fluctuations. To counter these challenges, the company outlined strategic initiatives, including an intensified cost-saving program, enhanced customer retention efforts, leveraging sports content, and bolstering local content development. Showcasing a ray of hope, MultiChoice cited positive momentum in its Showmax video streaming platform, experiencing a promising 16% growth in paying subscribers since its relaunch in February. Meanwhile, Canals Plus firm offer to acquire all remaining MultiChoice shares signifies a significant development in the company's trajectory, with the proposed bid deemed fair and reasonable by an independent board appointed by MultiChoice. Canal Plus, a subsidiary of the Vivendi Group led by billionaire 16 subsidiaries with an impressive subscriber base of 8 million. Its stake in MultiChoice positions is strategically in English-speaking and Portuguese-speaking markets across Africa, signaling potential growth and expansion opportunities for both entities. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us and watch us on our Atn socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. The Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, has issued a statement reassuring bank customers regarding the safety and stability of the Nigerian banking sector. The statement, signed by Professor Pius Olariwaju, President Chairman of the CIBN Council, emphasized the solidity of the sector amidst recent claims suggesting potential revocations of banking licenses by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, following the revocation of Heritage Bank's license. CBN swiftly denied these claims, affirming the robustness and resilience of the Nigerian financial system. The Apex Bank denounced the allegations as false, asserting its commitment to maintaining the safety and soundness of the financial sector. In response to CBN's stance, CIBN reiterated the sector's stability, dismissing the claims as misleading and emphasizing the authority of CBN, the assessing financial institutions' health. Emphasizing the regulatory strength of the Nigerian banking system, CIBN underscored the rigorous frameworks and supervisory measures in place to uphold stakeholders' interests and ensure financial stability. The Institute urged the public to continue banking activities without hesitation, noting ongoing efforts towards implementing the banking sector recapitalization program to bolster capital reserves. Furthermore, CIBN highlighted its collaborative efforts with regulators such as CBN and the Nigeria Operation and long-term sustainability. The recommendation was made in the SME Business Governance Guidelines 2024, released by the FRC on its website earlier this week. Developed in collaboration with the Convention on Business Integrity and UN Global Compact Network Nigeria, the SME Corporate Governance Guidelines offer a simplified model of the Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance 2018. Principle 8 of these guidelines focuses on establishing frameworks for managing the relationship between the family and the business. It suggests the formulation of a constitution outlining the vision, values, and policies governing this relationship, along with the establishment of a family governance structure to facilitate effective communication and coordination among family members and other stakeholders. As family businesses evolve over generations, The guidelines recommend considering the establishment of a family council to institutionalize cooperation, especially in larger families. The council would serve as a forum for keeping family members informed about business development and allowing them to voice their opinions. Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, Special Advisor to the President on Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council and Investment, highlighted the significant contribution of family businesses to Nigeria's economy, with approximately 23.8 million such enterprises employing millions and collectively contributing around $200 billion annually. Succession planning is also emphasized in the guidelines, recognizing the challenges of transferring leadership from one generation to the next and stressing the importance of careful succession planning for the long-term survival of family-run businesses. Additionally, Principle 3 of the guidelines encourages micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, to establish formal boards of directors to accompany their growth. A board formalizes decision-making processes, provides checks and balances, facilitates strategic thinking, and teams and networks to guide and support their business endeavors. Nigeria's daily oil production declined 1.25 exporting countries, OPEC. This contradicts claims by the federal government and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, that production had increased to 1.7 million barrels per day. OPEC data revealed a decrease of 30,000 barrels per day from April's production of 1.28 million barrels per day. In May, NNPC Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari stated during the stakeholders' engagement that crude production to 24 indicated a further decline in resources. Previous reports by OPEC showed a marginal rise in April's production from 1.23 million barrels per day in March to 1.28 million barrels per day. The continuous decline in production has raised concerns amongst stakeholders about revenue loss. The chairman of the Petroleum Technology Association of Nigeria, Wole Ogunsanya, highlighted the country's underproduction by at least 500,000 barrels per day, attributing it to various challenges, including issues on the Trans-Niger pipeline and maintenance activities by oil companies. Responding to concerns, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokobere, attributed the production shortfall to issues on the Trans-Niger pipeline and maintenance activities. Lokobere assured that measures were being taken to address the situation and restore production to previous levels. Efforts to attract investors to the oil and gas sector include reducing front entry barriers, such as reducing the signature bonus from around $200 million to $10 million, as announced by the federal government. Sterling Bank has forged a partnership with the School of Politics, Policy and Governance (SPPG) to tackle the challenges associated with credential verification by adopting blockchain technology. The collaboration, revealed in a statement issued by the bank on Tuesday, signifies a significant stride towards enhancing the efficiency, security, and accessibility of academic credentials in Nigeria. As part of the partnership, Sterling Bank will support the implementation of a blockchain-based digital certification program delivered by VX Technologies. Chief Growth Officer of Sterling Bank, Obina Ukashuku, expressed excitement about the initiative, highlighting its potential to revolutionize credential verification and align with the bank's hard strategy for education, focusing on access and equity. Through blockchain technology, graduates from SPPG will now receive secure, tamper-proof digital certificates, ensuring the integrity and authenticity of their academic achievements. SPPG, designed to nurture a new generation of political leaders, stands out as an unconventional institution committed to excellence in education. Ryan Harkers, Director of Operations at VX Technologies, acknowledged Sterling Bank's pivotal role in funding the initial phase of the project, enabling thousands of SPPG alumni to access their digital certificates at no cost. Alero Aida Otobo, Chief Executive Officer of SPPG, commended Sterling Bank for its dedication to quality education, emphasizing the pioneering role of blockchain in academic credential management. Sterling Bank's investment in education underscores its commitment to advancing key sectors sectors of the economy outlined in its heart strategy, which encompasses health, education, agriculture, renewable energy, and transportation. Through strategic partnerships and innovative initiatives, Sterling Bank continues to drive progress and foster positive change in Nigeria's education landscape. We are watching ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Stay tuned.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on Atn Politics today.
Illegally. That is amazing. Honourable, you human
On the point of order.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on Atn Politics today.
people into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honourable, you human.
on the point of order.
Honourable,
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Welcome back to ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. The Naira saw some positive movement against the US dollar as anticipation built around America's inflation figures and the upcoming interest rate decision by the US Federal Reserve later in the day. Market observers noted a significant moderation in the dollar index, which contributed to the Naira stability below the 1,500 Naira per dollar threshold. Additionally, an increase in the Central Bank of Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves helped alleviate concerns in the foreign exchange market. According to data from FMDQ, the Naira strengthened marginally at the official market, moving from 1,481 and 1,481 Naira 32 kobo per dollar to 1,481 Naira 03 kobo per dollar, while the Bureau de Change rate also saw a slight upstick from 1,477 Naira per dollar to 1,475 Naira per dollar. Nigeria's foreign reserves received a boost of $32.7 billion, partly attributed to a $925 million disbursement from the African Export-Import Bank, Afrexim Bank, under a crude oil-backed prepayment loan deal with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPCL Limited. However, concerns linger over the impacts of potential U.S. interest rate decisions on foreign investment inflows into Nigeria. If the Federal Reserve opts to delay rate decreases due to higher than expected inflation, it could dampen investor sentiment and lead to depreciation of the Naira. Furthermore, the allure of near all-time high yields on U.S. government bonds may divert global investors away from emerging markets like Nigeria, impacting the country's capital markets. The dollar index, which measures the dollar's value against other major currencies, experienced a slight decline, trading below the 105 index point threshold after reaching a recent peak. This movement reflects the cautious stance of investors awaiting key economic indicators and policy decisions from the U.S. Federal Reserve. The World Bank has expressed skepticism regarding the effectiveness of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) monetary policy tightening in curbing inflation, contrary to analysts' expectations. According to the World Bank's recent report titled Global Economic Prospects, Nigeria's economic growth rate for 2024 remains unchanged at 3.3%, aligning with its initial projection at the beginning of the year. Additionally, the bank forecast a GDP growth of 3.5% in 2025, attributing the increase to reforms initiated by the current administration in the petroleum and forex exchange sectors. However, the report highlights the persistent risk faced by the CBN's monetary policy tightening. Despite the CBN's interest rate hikes totaling 750 basis points since the beginning of the year, the World Bank underscores that risks to Nigeria's growth outlook persist, particularly concerning inflation control. The implementation of President Tinubu's twin reforms, which involve the removal of fuel subsidy and the unification of the foreign exchange, has had significant ramifications on Nigeria's economy. The depreciation of the Naira, reaching around 1,400 Naira per dollar, with peaks of about 1,600 Naira per dollar, coupled with soaring inflation rates, including food inflation at 40.53%, underscores the challenges faced by the economy. In response, the CBN embarked on an aggressive monetary policy tightening spree, including substantial increases in the monetary policy rates MPR and cash reserve ratio CRR of banks. However, criticisms from members of the Nigeria business community, including CPPE, NASIMA, and MAN, argue that these measures have failed to effectively address inflation and have instead imposed additional burdens on the real economy by raising the cost of accessing capital. Despite the CBN's assertion that the MPR hike was necessary to curb inflation, the inflation rate has continued to rise from 29.90 in January to 33.69% in April 2023. The World Bank's cautionary stance underscores the complexity of Nigeria's economic challenges and the need for comprehensive and effective policy responses to address them. Multi-million-dollar works by Jean-Michel Basquiat, Yayoi Kusama, and Alberto Giacometti debuted on the markets this week, alongside the 0.6% expansion in 2023. However, the agency warned of persistent sluggishness compared to historical standards, particularly noting challenges faced by the poorest nations burdened down in economic growth. Emerging markets and developing countries are expected to grow collectively by 4% this year, down from 4.2% in 2023, highlighting challenges in sustaining growth rates. China faces challenges stemming from a real estate market collapse and weak consumer confidence, projecting a deceleration to 4.8% growth from 5.2% in 2023. Latin America anticipates a slowdown from 2.2% to 1.8% growth in 2024, while Sub-Saharan Africa is expected to grow modestly at 3.5%, up from 3% in the previous year. European countries using the euro currency impacted by Russia's conflict with Ukraine are forecasted to achieve a modest 0.7% growth in 2024, almost double their 0.4% growth in 2023. Japan's growth prospects are subdued due to sluggish consumer spending and declining exports, expected to slow to 0.7% from 1.9% in 2023. Widespread trade restrictions imposed in 2023, partly due to geopolitical tensions, contributed to stagnant world trade volume, which is forecasted to expand by only 2.5% in 2024. The World Bank emphasizes the need for dialogue and cooperation to address these challenges, and for solutions that promote trade rather than erecting barriers. U.S. stocks surged on Wednesday in response to positive news on inflation and reassurance from the Federal Reserve regarding potential interest rate cuts. The S&P 500 reached a new high, climbing 0.9% from its previous record, while the Nasdaq Composite also hit a fresh high with a 1.5% jump. However, the Dow Jones Industrial Average lagged behind, experiencing a slight dip of 0.1%. Bond markets also witnessed significant movement, with Treasury yields decreasing after the release of the inflation reports, which showed a lower than expected increase in prices. Economists had anticipated a steady inflation rate of 3.4%, but consumer prices rose by 3.3% from the previous year. The slowdown in inflation not only provides relief for U.S. households grappling with rising prices, but also paves way for potential interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve. This prospect of easy monetary policy buoyed investment prices across various assets, from Bitcoin to gold to copper. Additionally, it contributed to a decrease in investor apprehension in U.S. stocks. Although the Federal Reserve opted to maintain its main interest rates during its latest policy meeting, Fed Chair Jerome Powell emphasized the need for further positive data to support confidence in the economy. Powell reiterated the Fed's cautious approach, emphasizing the importance of sustainable progress towards the 2% inflation target before considering rate adjustments. The Fed faces a delicate balancing act, weighing the risks of acting too swiftly or too slowly on interest rates. While cutting rates prematurely could reignite inflation, delaying action could adversely impact economic growth. The Fed's projections indicate the likelihood of 1 or 2 rate cuts this year, with revised forecasts for 2025. In response to expectations of lower interest rates, sectors of the stock market that typically benefit from such policies performed well. Smaller companies reliant on borrowing for growth led the markets, with the Russell 2000 index surging 1.6%. Lower interest rates also stimulated activity in the housing market, with companies like D.R. Horton experiencing gains. Despite concerns about high interest rates and economic slowdown, strong performances were observed in sectors influenced by artificial intelligence AI, such as NVIDIA and Oracle. The S&P 500 closed at 5,421.03, while Nasdaq reached 17,608.44, and the Dow dipped slightly to 38,712.21. In the bond markets, yields on 10-year and 2-year treasuries fell in response to expectations of Fed rate cuts. Overseas, European markets rallied on the positive U.S. inflation data, while Asian markets displayed mixed results, with Japan's Nikkei 2225 index declining ahead of the Bank of Japan's upcoming interest rate announcement. Asian shares mostly rose on Thursday, with investors shifting focus to Bank of Japan's upcoming monetary policy decision. Despite expectations that the Bank of Japan would maintain its benchmark rate at the conclusion of its meeting on Friday, concerns lingered over the impact of the dollar's prolonged strength against the Japanese yen on the economy. Yip Jun-rong, a market analyst at IG, noted that the recent hawkish hold stance from the Federal Reserve could further influence the US dollar's upward trend against the Japanese yen if the Bank of Japan maintains its accommodative policy stance. In currency markets, the US dollar slightly declined against the Japanese yen, trading at 157.14 yen compared to 156.71 yen previously. The euro also experienced a marginal drop to $1.0805 from $1.0812. Following its policy meeting, the Federal Reserve kept its main interest rates unchanged, contributing to a decrease in Treasury yields after a report indicated that U.S. consumers faced a 3.3% increase in prices from a year earlier, slightly below economists' expectations of 3.4%. In Asia, Japan's Nikkei 225 dipped 0.2%, while Australia's S&P ASX 200 surged 0.4%, and South Korea's Kospi jumped 1.2%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng gained 0.5%, but the Shanghai Composite declined 0.2%. On Wall Street, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite reached new highs, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average saw a slight decline. Smaller companies, particularly those reliant on borrowing for growth, led the markets, with the Russell 2000 index rising 1.6%. The decrease in inflationary pressures not only provides relief to U.S. households, but also opens the possibility of the Federal Reserve lowering its main interest rate, potentially stimulating investment. Various asset classes, including Bitcoin, gold, and copper, rallied in response to the inflation data as expectations for interest rate cuts grew. Fed Chair Jerome Powell welcomed the inflation update, but emphasized the need for sustained evidence of inflation heading towards the Fed's 2% target before considering rate adjustments. Lower interest rates could translate into more favorable mortgage rates, potentially revitalizing the housing market. Home builder stocks like D.R. Horton and Builders First saw gains. Oracle and NVIDIA were among the companies driving Wall Street higher, with NVIDIA's market value surpassing $3 trillion. Apple also contributed to the S&P 500's ascent, following possible reactions to its AI-related announcement. In energy trading, benchmark U.S. crude and Brent crude experienced slight declines. The UK economy faced stagnation in April due to adverse weather conditions, deterring shoppers and hindering construction activities. This outcome aligns with economists' expectations and follows a period of rapid growth in preceding months, marking the end of the recession experienced in the latter half of the previous year. As the nation approaches the general election scheduled for July 4th, the state of the economy emerges as a central point of contention among political parties. The Conservatives view the latest figures as evidence of a positive turnaround, indicating ongoing recovery, while Labour interprets them as revealing the extent of damage incurred. According to data from the Office for National Statistics, ONS, expenditure on services continued to rise for the fourth consecutive month, encompassing sectors such as hairdressing and hospitality. However, this growth was counterbalanced by declines in production and the construction industry. The UK's gross domestic product, GDP, a measure of the value of goods and services reduced over time, saw a growth of 0.4% in March. Within the services industry, certain sectors performed differently, with the information, communication, and scientific sector experiencing growth, while shop trade declined. The Office for National Statistics, ONS, reported that some retail businesses attributed decreased output to adverse weather conditions, notably higher rainfall than the long-term average. However, quantifying the precise impact of rainfall proved challenging for the ONS. Output in services for consumers declined by 0.7%, reflecting ongoing challenges for individuals grappling with steep increases in living costs. Economists caution against overemphasizing monthly fluctuations in economic activity, as they can be influenced by various factors such as weather patterns or the timing of holidays. Over the 3 months leading up to April, the economy expanded by 0.7%. The Bank of England will scrutinize these figures alongside other indicators during its upcoming meeting to determine interest rate policies. Despite the economic growth, many individuals face financial strains due to rising energy, food costs, and mortgage payments. Mark Breen, owner of the Old Kent Roastery coffee shop in Margate, has refrained from raising prices despite his own escalating expenses, fearing it would deter customers. The current economic climate underscores widespread financial challenges, with some struggling to make ends meet. Against the backdrop of ongoing political campaigns, interpretations of the economic data diverge. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt lauds the indication of economic progress under the Conservatives, while Labour's Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves highlights April's stagnant reading as emblematic of damage accrued during Conservative governance. Liberal Democrats Treasury spokesperson Sarah Oni sees the economic growth slowdown as coinciding with Rishi Sunak's tenure as Prime Minister. Economists offered varied perspectives on the latest figures, with some viewing them positively and others finding them underwhelming. Danny Hewson, AJ Bell's head of financial analysis, acknowledges the significance of stable growth but expresses concern over the 3-month decline in construction, emphasizing the importance of house building in political discourse. This is where we wrap it up on this edition of ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port Harcourt. I am Susan Abbey. We're open for adverts, placements, bookings, and commercials. Stay connected on ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very firmly.
natural